Okay, hi everyone. So let's go over what's pending. I think we've had some things progressing since Wednesday. There's the Prometheus reporting merged. So there's the PR. I think we all saw it. Paul, did you see it as well? Did you see?
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
I did. I had a couple of comments. So
Mhm.
yeah, it's a good now. Yeah.
Okay, so you should have an example there for adding one metric for the endpoint. Right?
Okay. Yeah.
Actually, we have the entire endpoint report already there, just need to be filled in.
Yeah.
Okay.
So that's good. Um, and let's see. So let me do I cross it or maybe. Let's go. We have two PRs, and I think we really want both of them to be merged as soon as possible because both of them have side effects that either prevent namespace from working well or preventing namespace cache from working well. So that's something we should focus. So let's jump to that. And let me see where I have this. 1 second. Okay. So this one I think is more critical because it's about namespace in general. So let me go there. So this is the fix for an issue that was opened, which is describing the issue. And I think Romy and Paul, you had discussion about this, and you found that this was not involving just get, but also head, right? That was the
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Uh-huh.
I saw that was the case. So let's go over the fix and see how this looks like. So that's an addition, right? So converting between the yeah. So let's take a look. So do you want to give us some explanation or where to go to look at the complete
So
fix?
uh, the fix actually just in the one you highlight at line 582. So content length was added in the caching feature. So because of the inline rate, content length is set to a 4K. So that's caused the issue.
Yeah.
What we fixed here is, we don't actually return the content length for content length returned by inline rate here. So if part number query parameter is not set, okay, we just return the size because of ignore the inline rate here. If it is the part number is set, we're going to return content length, which is actually corresponding to the part number size. So that's it. That is the fix. Before the content length property was added, I believe it is only use size. Okay, I remember it's only use size as the content length. Okay.
Yeah.
But that changes the reason to add the content length because of part number support. We cannot use size. We have to return the specific size queried by part number.
Yeah, I understand the fix. So basically we want back the size to be applied. So that's the fix for the actual problem. But I think we are getting to a point where the differences between size and content length is not so, in content range also in this case. I'm not really sure if we use it outside that much, but probably we do. Yeah, we do, of course. But I mean, the differences between them outside when we are processing the responses from these are getting a little bit vague. We're not sure what to return when, and part number becomes like a critical case here, and the requested range becomes a thing, and the first inline range becomes a thing, and there's too many considerations, feels like, here, that we are trying to put into the same variable and a half. So I think that's the situation here, and that's why we're getting into too many of these issues with inline range, because inline range was added to this mix and part number was added to this mix, and we're getting into confusions about how do we organize the the common code that needs to understand these things.
Mm-hmm.
I don't have a good suggestion yet, but I think I might have one, like saying somehow splitting this into having just, a simpler content length is just a content length of whatever we're trying to represent by this object information.
Mm-hmm.
And unfortunately, I think we have two cases. I think we use it once to represent information about part number, once to represent information about the entire object, and once to represent just a partial range reads, content range, so to speak, length.
At the bottom line, I think the content length, what would we like to use that for? Is it's going to use it to indicate the amount of data returned by hub,
right.
or if it is because of inline range, it's kind of because it's done internally, it's kind of just
right, but that was okay, because in some, I mean, it wasn't okay, but it was, at least that was the first patch that we had to do this to this logic, because we saw immediately that if we are using if the response contains a range,
mm-hmm.
right, then now suddenly we can't just take the content length as the size.
Mm-hmm.
It's not appropriate for what for the object size, right? And we actually need to get that size from content range. And when you added part number to the mix, suddenly that size was not fine enough to represent the case for part number, right?
Yeah.
Right. So let's try to understand what are the things that we are representing here, first of all, at least from the perspective of what we have in the namespace S3, like in the internal of the namespace, versus what we need from the the S3 REST API layer. Because actually from the S3 API, it's pretty simple. It's actually just the S3 get that is really using this extensively. So let's see. Let me check this. So right here in the test, actually, I wanted to take a look at.
Yeah, the test just try to test that scenario. Used to be we don't distinguish between in less than inline size, greater than inline size of the objects. Right now, so I just added two test cases, specifically test this scenario.
Mm-hmm. That's great. Okay, got you. Okay, so I see this, and that's it actually in the patch. Okay, so we don't need much more than. So let me open up for a second S3 get object operation. Let's see how that looks like. So here we ask for the object metadata from the cache.
Mm-hmm.
And in this flow, I mean, not the cache, from the namespace, sorry. And the namespace is responsible for getting just the metadata information, like the head of for this request. So in one hand, it has part number sort of branching between these, because it might need be ahead of. We might. So one way we could somehow resolve this might be to do a read part number metadata, right? Like have really separate it from this type of aspect, because it is essentially something pretty different, not just the request but also the response. So some of it actually would be reused next, but we might let the namespace return something a little bit different between these flows, or meaning differently. I'm not sure if it makes much sense here, but let's continue. So the case where we were failing with was here.
Yeah.
Initially, right? I mean, initially that was the one that failed on get, because the head request didn't fail. So what happened when the head request, like this request, failed? When there was when Romy tried the CyberDuck thing, what it was returning something which didn't make much sense, right? From
it just returned the 4K, the head before before the final changes, the head procedure still return the 4K in the size. That's actually confused CyberDuck, but doesn't confuse like S3. S3 tend to ignore. I don't know why.
So I think I know something that we need to fix to make this better. So where is it? Let me see. This one. So we are setting the response, right? So we take, when we set the object MD response right here, we do it in a somewhat general way. So if there's content range, we set a content range. If there's what do we have here? We always set a content length. This is the logic, right? If there's a content length, we use content length, otherwise size. So essentially, we do have an option not to not to set the content length to anything. We just need to set it to undefined, basically. Right? That's another case. The other thing I'm thinking about here, let me think. So I think I need to have a some more time looking at this to have a meaningful suggestion. I don't think I have it right now. So if someone wants to add anything to this, go ahead, or I'll just take a look at this, and after the meeting, I don't want to hold everything on this.
Sure. Yeah.
Okay. So the other, let's go for the. So it's great. So let's summarize this one. So I think that it's great that we know what was failing us. It's good that we have a fix suggested. And I think if I have a good suggestion, I will suggest it. Otherwise, we can, of course, go ahead and merge, and hopefully we can backport this to the next release as well. I mean, this one for sure. I'm pretty sure it's gonna be included right now, but let's talk about the next one, and then we can see how this looks like. So
here's also another comment regarding whether to use Bluebird or not.
Yeah.
I don't know.
It's okay not to use it.
Okay.
I don't think we need it much more. So but we didn't do. I mean, we are sort of taking it lazy. In the sense that we are trying not to add more usages, which are, we're trying to deprecate, most notably the functions from Bluebird that that are not standard. And delay, I think, is really something we use quite a lot, which probably we will just want to have some function in one of our util models to to expose that anyway. We have another one. We should fix that, so don't worry that much about it.
So I don't need to address that comment.
I think it's not critical for this case. It's also I think it's for tests.
Yeah, it's for tests. Yeah.
I mean, it's okay. We can search replace these delays anyway. We will have to. So,
okay.
Okay. So let's jump to the second PR. So that's the one we talked about last time, I think, with 2 fixes. Let me take a look at where we left off. Okay, so did I drop the ball? I think maybe.
I created another. I just create another solution or changes, address 2 of your concerns or 2 of the issues you raised.
Yeah.
So basically, I create a parameter, just function handler, in the upload object procedure in the past diet, a function to grab to get the last modified time. So that's the new changes. And beyond that, I also found actually last modified time was not updated in other scenarios. So I just go ahead to fix other scenario as well. So
Okay.
that's what's the new changes.
What do you mean the other scenario?
For example, in the read scenario, we only update that particular issues I found is in the beginning is for the upload scenario, caching during upload.
Yeah.
It's the other 2 scenario is read scenario. So read, we also need to update last modified time during caching in read scenario. So the last modified time was not updated. And also during range read scenario, we also did not upload.
But in I think in both of these we have the last modified time even before we start the operation.
Yeah. So that's but to make sure we follow the same spec. I just create a functions just directly return that.
But okay, so this function, I see you call it during the upload flow, and you mean the upload to the cache, right?
Yeah, upload to the cache. Yeah.
So this is the cache upload being completed, and just before completion.
Yeah, just before completion.
So why shouldn't we just pass on? I mean, what do we need? Why should we update? Why shouldn't we just?
Then I need to modify the complete object upload procedure. I guess will be fine. We can update that procedure. I already changed the create object upload procedure as well. Yeah.
Yeah, I know it's okay to change it if it make. I mean, there's no if you don't mind. I mean the change to the code, but the change is very welcome when it saves. Just passing another call to make the same be applied, and it's another database update. I think it makes sense to unify this into complete. Actually, you've hooked it so accurately into the right place, so that's easy to do. But isn't this just happening for so complete object upload? Are we calling this also for like a partial range read?
No, it's not called the partial. That's why I also changed the create object upload to accept last modified time.
Okay, I see that. That's the create side. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, that's good.
So if no issues,
that's an optional thing, and then you're saying if I get the last modified time, I can hook it up to the complete params in this case, or hook it up to the create params in the other case.
Yeah.
Right. And why is that? Why is that an I mean, why do we need to await this function? Is that
Well,
function waiting for anything really?
that is in the original issue. In the when for the upload case, right? We have to await to know.
Ah, I see. So that's the waiting for us for the hub to
Yeah,
actually complete. I see.
that's just for one of the scenarios. For the other scenarios, yeah, we don't have to wait.
Okay, so I would suggest something, mostly about the maybe clarity of this hook, right? So it is getting last modified time, of course, but
Yeah.
we are also waiting for it. I mean that there is, of course, you're calling it a wait, but like maybe if we can name it something that will identify that this provides us with some form of rendezvous, or waiting for an event to complete, or waiting for some of course it's a promise, so for some promise anyway, just something that explain that this is a waiter kind of functionality for us, not just getting the information.
Yeah.
um,
Yeah, sure.
Okay, I understand the solution. Okay, that seems good. So this will wait for the hub promise, and then okay. So again, here you shouldn't really do this anymore. You should just do await on the hub promise, right? And then continue. Like I mean, you can even catch this. You can do this multiple times. It doesn't matter if you want. The promise will always give you that when it's resolved, even after or before. You can write that code. So then you can go on and okay. Okay. And in this case, this is just, I see. In this case, it's not even really doing any async work, but yeah, that's good.
Then could you open up the complete upload procedure in object server? Just to try to make sure we have no problem to add last modified time in there.
Yeah, sure. So this one is for create, right?
Yeah, this one for create. The mainly the object server .js file.
Yeah, sure. Object server.
We have
Okay, so up until now, it's just checking what we got in preparing what we're going to.
Yeah, so basically just need to add to set updates. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, that's cool.
And we let's see, we are talking about the size, right?
No, we're talking about
last modified. Sorry, it's last modified, and we didn't set it at all here. Let's see, didn't we set it to anything here?
No.
Okay, so it was only set
Yeah.
as modified. Modified time here, of course, but then in create as well, right?
Mm-hmm.
This one. So right here we did like so we did get it from outside anyway. Yeah, so that's the new. That's for the reads. Yeah. Okay. So you can do the same for complete. It's pretty safe and easy.
Cool.
That's good. Let's go back a second. See where we. Let me just note that already so that we move last to complete. Okay. Okay. Anything else from this PR? There was, I think, another fix here as well, or is this the other fix was for this, right?
Yeah, the other is not a fix. You can consider it just small changes how we handle the first range data.
Yeah, to cache it as well.
That's it, yeah.
And does it? So how does it behave? Like, let's just think about the, how does a read behave now with this? So we will. So let's take like a large file. Large file read will start with a head, which will check the file in the cache. The cache will, it will be missing, and we will go to the hub. We'll try to get an inline range, and we'll see that the inline range doesn't add up to the entire object size, so we don't even cache it, right?
Yeah.
Because right after that, we will start reading from zero and sort of stream through the object in 4 megabyte chunks or things like large chunks. And then for a small object, just by head, like the initial head that got the first range data from the hub, we push it to the cache right here, and the upload is complete here. Like we get everything. Yeah, so you even added this one here as well, right? So I would suggest that if what you want to achieve is like synchronous last modified time, maybe you can just add it like a property here, so that there's two ways of providing this, either through this or through like an async last modified.
Okay.
Yeah, something like that, and then like it's an either or case.
Okay.
What do you think? Is it better, or I don't know?
Well, it's fine. Either way is fine.
Yeah, I don't know. Okay, and the only thing I was worried about when I thought about this flow was maybe we would. So since we submit here this uploader, in case we have a queue before us, and then the read comes in still before we manage to push it into the hub, into the cache, then we'll probably try to resubmit the same, right?
You talk about the next read or talk about the ongoing read?
So it's an ongoing read, right? So
ongoing read, we always return the first range, right? If object is small.
Oh yeah, right. So we return it from the read itself as well.
Yeah.
That's right. Okay. Okay, so I was more worried about if it will, sort of consistently create a race if there's a queue, right? But if it doesn't, if we really just, when we get a small object, we push it to the queue, but then return the object, so then there's no read following up that to cache it, then it sounds fine. I see what you were saying. Okay, so it sounds good. Let me see. So I think we've gone through the agenda, and we've we completed all the time. The one thing I just want to say before we finish up is that I was like in the middle of the word and I dropped it, but I'm trying to write this short description of what we're trying to demonstrate so that we have a very clear picture of it. I'm thinking how to collaborate on this. We can collaborate on the doc, or if you feel it's working for you, or otherwise on maybe in just chat and Slack, and then follow up on Wednesday meeting to actually try this. That's what I'm thinking to do. So I'll share this when I have something more concrete, so that you you can try to give some comments.
Yeah, sure.
Okay. Any other things you guys want to mention?
I have one question, general question, not regarding specific one of the agenda items.
Mm-hmm.
I would like to know, we are now, it's a little bit related to the PR that I pushed. We are now starting to collect more information. What is the use case for using it? Are we going to use it from code? Are we going to use it just as visualization? What is the use case on IBM side, like Paul and friends?
I think let me say a word, and then I mean, if you want to add, Paul, or anyone wants to add something. I think that the point is that it's a matter of being able to troubleshoot anything or explain even what how this behaves. I don't think it's completely there's a use case or user experience kind of design around metrics. At this point, it's mostly about having the information first of all, and from that point, having this for both troubleshoot, support, and if we get more advanced with it, we will also provide some user experience with it. I'm sure it will be useful, but I think it's early in the process. I think we are in the point where we just need it for gaining trust in the solution.
I'm just trying, I will refine my question because I think you answered something that is not
a different
specifically
question.
what I asked.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, what I'm trying to say, specifically the endpoint stuff, the namespace stuff that we want to collect. I was under the impression, maybe the wrong impression, that we want to take some decision inside the product based on the data that we'll gather there. And Prometheus is just a tunnel. So maybe I misunderstand the use case here because this doesn't correlate with what Guy just said.
So I think this is an opportunistic question. I think what you're asking is opportunistic, right? So when first of all, we need the information, right? And when we have information that will allow us to investigate and get some algorithmic, improvement or efficiency, or maybe heuristics about what we should cache or not, of course we would like to do that, or allow such research to be done, right? But I think at this point we are just an enabler, like we're starting with just enabling this feature to be functional, right, first of all. But it's a good question to how can we maybe use more research so we can provide more data. If you create and collect more data, you are helping to research what you're doing better. So I think that's where we are.
I was just thinking it's part of some kind of roadmap of what we want to do with it, but I can accept an answer that we don't yet know what we want to do with it.
I don't think this is sort of an internal optimization kind of opportunity. If we see opportunity, I think we are the ones who can sort of suggest some improvements to this, right? Because we will also collect the information, we will understand the information, we can know what decisions we've made on the way to this result, and we can suggest, okay, there is some potential here. Maybe we need help to understand the data, maybe we need a lot of things, but I think we are in the position to suggest any improvements, at least. So yeah, if you see them, I think it's good. If you see more opportunities to collect meaningful data from this, then I think it's useful. I think collecting more data here is something we should start with. And yeah, makes sense for you? Is that what you kind of? I mean, you wanted to know something else, but yeah.
No, it is an answer. I guess because I don't hear anybody else saying anything else. This is the actual thing we are trying to accomplish, which is fine.
For now. Yeah, I think that's the thing. Okay. Okay, folks. So let me end the recording, and we'll see everyone also next, not next, on Wednesday.